Dallas, Texas. John, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Dr. Savage. I'm a board-certified anesthesiologist in the Metroplex, and I have a lot of problems with my profession.
Well, wait. Now, first of all, anesthesiologists are at the top of their profession in terms of earnings. Isn't that still true?
It is true.
So what does an anesthesiologist earn in dollars, and not what you make, but generally, what's the approximate income?
$300,000 to $350,000 a year.
But what is the problem that you have with your specialty, or is it with the field of medicine in general?
Well, first about my specialty, I have unqualified nurses who try to legislate that they can do the same job as I can. I have government regulations which every day put more separation between me and my patient's relationship, to deal with socialistic colleagues who want to usher in an era of Obama politics, which will destroy our medicine.
So in other words, you're saying you're no longer a doctor. In essence, they're turning you into something less than the doctor in the room, the bureaucrat. It's very much like a soft communism. That's what you're really saying, because when Mao Zedong took over China, he took the surgeons out of the surgery. He put them in the laundry room if he didn't shoot them, and he took untrained laundresses and put them in the surgery, and he said, you do the surgery. And if they said they couldn't, he said, you're a counter-revolutionary, and he had them shot. That's more or less what's happening in America, isn't it?
That's exactly what's happening with these nurses. And furthermore, what's happening is we have the socialized government using these mid-level professionals to try to take out the doctors through class warfare and jealousy. They look up to us. They want to tear us down through regulations. They want to make everyone the lowest common denominator.
Isn't that terrible? It's awful. And, of course, the patient is at risk as a result of using ignoramuses. You mean they're making decisions as to what kind of anesthesia to give and in what dose?
Now, nurse anesthetists work underneath anesthesiologists in a beautiful model, but some of them want to fight for independence when they are nowhere near as qualified. And
I get it. So the nurse practitioner now wants to become an anesthesiologist.
Basically, yes, sir.
Okay, and the HMOs would like that because they can pay them less than they pay you.
They would love it, and it's a perfect class warfare. Who wants to fight against nurses or when you have the big bad doctors to go against? It's really terrible.
My God. So it's the socialized medicine that's killing the medical field.
It is, and it's not about the money. I do really well. I want to be one-on-one with my patients. I don't want some joker from above or below telling me how to treat my patients. I want to be able to take my patient, treat them one-on-one, and have a close relationship. But because of the bureaucrats, I can't do that.
I hear you, my friend. Thanks. This is a very enlightening topic, but we're finding out that 60% of doctors polled said they had considered getting out of medicine because of low morale. Can you hear this? And lawyers in big firms, 20%, a fifth of them drop out of the legal profession, and it's not about money. It's about other things. So I'm just, for another few minutes, for young people who are listening who are trying to decide whether to be a doctor or a lawyer, an Indian chief, I've had lawyers or doctors call and explain what we're talking about here. Thus far, we heard one lawyer call who said that he's disenchanted because justice and the law are not one and the same. So if you're an idealist, don't go into the legal profession. And we just had a doctor who called who said that he doesn't have the authority to be the doctor he's trained to be. They're trying to give it to people with almost no training whatsoever to save money. Los Angeles, 8:30 on the dial. Jack, next up. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Mike. Great to talk to you, and great to talk to
Thank
a radio
you.
host who actually has a few degrees there, just a different level of conversation.
Thank you.
Listeners as well. But I'm 28. I recently graduated from top 25 law school, full scholarship. Advice that I would give to anybody who's considering going into law school is not necessarily to dissuade them from going to law school, but look at the percentages of those who decide to take that law degree and go into business and use it so that you can protect yourself from all the damn avaricious other flipping attorneys that are going to come after you for...
you mean to protect you from the John Edwards in the legal profession?
You need that... Oh, good Lord, don't get me started on MedMal, Mike. That's it's a disgrace.
I don't understand how this issue of his having made his fortune through fraudulent claims has never come up from the media. I can't understand that.
You're going to be hard-pressed to find any law school where idealism is anything other than pure socialism. You're either in it for the money, you're going for the very top law firms. I think the quality of life stinks. Per hour, you're not making that much for your first 2-3 years, quite frankly. And if you want to be an idealist and you're conservative, don't go to law school, my friend, unless you use that law degree to go into another area, which is exactly what I'm doing.
Well, wait, I want to pause right here because I think getting a law degree is actually a very good thing for mental training. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Definitely.
I have a very wealthy friend who said to me that just getting a law degree, not necessarily passing the bar, is an excellent way to keep the mind sharp, exercise it. And if you're going to go into another field, having a law degree is always a good background for that reason alone, that you've trained your mind to be focused and logical.
No, it's a great way to train the mind. Quite frankly, I went to a large public school here in Los Angeles, starts with a UC, and I was bored.
Well, hail. I went to UC Berkeley, so I'm a proud graduate of one of the greatest university systems in the world, and it certainly was when I went there many years ago. I can't say it has collapsed completely. It's still probably pretty good.
Yeah, no, I went there for undergrad, and quite frankly, it wasn't that difficult. I was really taken aback in my undergraduate training, but the legal training is something completely different. I would definitely recommend for any youngsters to go, but with the qualification that if you really do want to practice law, understand exactly what it is that you're doing. That's why you have so many people who ultimately decide they're going to become professors. Anybody with a wit of sense for quality of life. The hours stink, Mike. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I would never.
What is it? 80 hours a week is pretty standard, or more for a young law graduate?
Yeah, well, hey, if you don't come in on Saturday, don't bother coming in on Sunday, quite frankly. And at the end of the day, though,
But wait, let me pause there. Jack, I learned from business people many years ago, everyone in business works 6 days a week today. Anyone who really runs their own business is working 24/7 one way or the other. They're rarely off. If you're running your own business, you're never off. So I don't think that's the issue. I think it's the type of hours that you're putting in where you're running a clock all the time. That can get to you, right?
No, for those that are beginning in large law firms, which are roughly, it's the top third of a class, and I would say the top 25 or so law schools for your large markets, California, New York. You're doing strictly research to a great extent. All that research is going to go to benefit somebody else. They're going to take credit for it, and you're pretty much out of
luck. Right. Well, it's like an assistant professor or a graduate student with a PhD who does the research for the professor who takes all the laurels. There's nothing new in that. It also sharpens your mind in the first few years, but it's a question of, are people prepared for that kind of system? I don't know. So we've talked a little bit about law and medicine, and yet nobody, you want to go back to politics? Let's go back to Edwards. How does a man get away with this crime? It's right out of Balzac. Behind every great fortune, at least in France at the time, there was a great crime. Edwards' fortune is built upon the great crime of lying to Ozark juries without teeth or without much between the ears. And yet not one idiot in the media will challenge him